Unfortunately, as I said, I became one of the biggest Instagram um, growth services on the market. I was probably the second biggest, and that put a target on our back. From Instagram, I received a cease and desist letter directly from Facebook, from Facebook's lawyers, with some very strong threats, and I showed this to my own lawyer, who basically said you just don't stand a chance. She said even if you want to fight this, they will just bankrupt you in paperwork. It's absolutely nothing for Facebook to spend 1 or 2 million to make an example of you, to scare off all the other Instagram growth companies. Bearing in mind there were about 300 other competitors at the time. Because this pre-built software was available, it was such a low barrier to entry for people to get started with their own Instagram software platform, which resulted in, so my lawyer just said, you just don't stand a chance. They will bury you in paperwork and they will bankrupt you. So even though I was making good money at the time compared to one of the largest companies in the world, it's obviously absolutely nothing. And she also said that they would extradite me, and they were coming at me for criminal charges for breach of a private computer network. Bearing in mind, we were just using automation built on top of, I hadn't even built this, it was a pre-built package, but our servers were performing automated activity on Facebook, and they classified this as breach of a private computer network, which carries a prison sentence. So it wasn't really a route that I wanted to go down. Facebook also asked for all of the profit that I had made, which just simply it just wasn't even possible to do, even if I wanted to, because of course I'd spent on marketing, I'd paid myself and just spent money, paid myself a salary and taken money out of the business. So there was no way it would have been possible to give back all their money. So over a period of negotiation, it went on for about 6 months. I'll be honest, it was really quite a stressful period, especially for a 21-year-old. When this letter came through, it was completely unexpected. I literally fell back off my chair and had I guess a state of shock, right? Everything was going so well for me, and this was completely unexpected. So the lesson that I really learned from this, because one mistake I did make, is I was constantly reinvesting my money back into the business because I had such great return on investment. I was sort of doubling anything that I put back into the company. It made complete sense to me. Oh, we're printing out money, let's have as much money in there as possible. But in fact, that was probably a big cause of the downfall. If I had gone much more slow and steady, not being so aggressive on marketing, and ran this campaign for a couple of years, because not all of the other competitors were shut down. Some of them are still running to this day. If I had taken a much more slow and steady approach, and also focused on paying myself a salary, so withdrawing a healthy amount from the business, keeping the campaign running, but not being so aggressive, making sure that I'm looking after myself, I would have been in a much better position. Whereas instead, I was investing as much money back into that company as possible every month. And I was just leaving myself with $1,000, $2,000 in the bank and reinvesting everything. When Facebook shut down that business, they gave me 3 days to shut everything to a halt. So I withdrew 3 days worth of revenue, and that was basically all that I got away with. So that is why, and it's also part of the reason I sold this company that I recently did now, just a couple of weeks ago, was because I didn't like having everything tied up within the business. I've been down that road before, and it ended very, very negatively. If I had actually focused on paying myself and looking after myself, paying myself $20,000, $30,000 per month and halving the rate of growth that I saw in the business, I would have ended up in a much, much stronger position. And also taking care of yourself in the short term. It's good to think about long term and to be prepared and so on, but often there are just things that are completely unforeseen, that you do everything that you can to prepare for these situations, but you just simply can't think of everything, and there can be some unexpected event, whatever it could be, like what we've seen recently with a pandemic, or there could be anything that shuts down your business, which is why I think it's so important that you make sure that when things are going well for you, you think about the long term as well, and don't do any like rash decisions that are going to put the long term, the future of your business in jeopardy. But you also, when things are going well, you make sure that you're looking after yourself, you're paying yourself a salary, you're taking money out where you can, just in case things do go wrong. Is, in my opinion, it's a foolish move to not look after yourself, to keep putting money back. And I learned this lesson the hard way, right? This is talking from experience. It can happen to anyone. And even now on my businesses as well, I prepare for things that could possibly go wrong and try to protect myself as much as possible, but you cannot protect yourself from every possible outcome. So make sure that you're looking after yourself.